Niagara Suspension Bridge is a photograph by William England, a British photographer. England was born in 1830 and lived through the reign of Queen Victoria, who ascended the throne in 1837, and whose time on the throne marked the final stages of the British Empire and its transition into a fully industrial society. William lived through the first years of photography and was directly influenced by William Henry Fox Talbot, one of the credited inventors of photography. Given that he lived nearby to Talbot's home in Laycock Abbey, as such, England would have had a unique access to the developments in the photographic process from an early age, influencing his photographic aesthetics. In 1860, England was interviewed by the Photographic News, who described him as probably the largest continental publisher of European views and one of the finest landscape photographers. Niagara Suspension Bridge, taken in 1859 during a trip paid by the London Stereoscopic Company, is a 9.5 by 11.5 albumen print from a wet collodion on glass negative. His assignment was to create a commercially profitable stereographs, yet this image is perhaps more unique and relevant today than his most successful and acclaimed image by his contemporaries, the Great Blowdin, which became the most popular stereographic image of all time. England's photograph of the Niagara Suspension Bridge, which at the time was considered a marvel of engineering in the first working railway suspension bridge, captures the unique moment in time when the Industrial Revolution was reaching its peaks, its inventions replacing centuries-old traditions, giving rise to travel and exploration, all of it being captured by the camera itself, a product of the industrial movement. England achieves this through careful placement of the frame in relation to the vantage point, taking into consideration the lighting, focus, and time captured by the image in order to balance the detail and accentuate the thing itself. The framing in the photograph is achieved by balancing the figures and objects in the image in relation in adherence to the rule of thirds, both vertically and horizontally, as can be seen right here. This is visible when viewing the position of the people in the foreground in relationship to the train and the landscape. Another key aspect to the frame is the decisive moment present by having the train being photographed just before it reaches the end of the frame, combined with the static posture of the people and the implied slowness of the horse and carriage. It creates a sense of movement and adds a dynamic element to the whole. Furthermore, the inclusion of people and landscape along with the bridge and train serve as a composite image of both group portraiture and the scenic view, both of which were the prevailing means of photography in its early stages. By taking the photograph at a slightly higher vantage point in relation to the group of people, but below that of the bridge, England ensured that he achieved the centered horizon line, which one is drawn to by the serpentine lines created by the cliffs and the river, which further lead to the vanishing point somewhere beyond the waterfalls in the distance. This serves to emphasize the large depth of field, which encompasses the majority of the image, reaching beyond the bridge, and serves to bring out the detail in the landscape. You can see that on the trees and shrubberies on the hill to the right. Along with this comes the choice of taking the photograph during a cloudy day, which diffused the natural light, creating soft shadows, as can be seen on the clothes of the people, which serve to give a more three-dimensional aspect to the image. In conjunction, all of these aspects and technical decisions made in the creation of the image lead to a balanced composition which celebrates the technical achievements of the 19th century. By doing so, England implied the camera as being one of such achievements for which the means by which those achievements were being preserved and presented to the world. As such, the latent presence of the camera is a dominant element in the image, albeit not present, for it's the agent of creation without which not only would it have been impossible to convey the triumph of industry to contemporaries, but it would have passed into obscurity given that the bridge is no longer there. Thus, the image and by association the camera has transcended being a simple representation of an object and instead becomes the object, the thing itself, and by doing so is the record of changing times.